That's my favorite.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ForcedToPod. My name is Saxon, but you can call me Sax. Joining me today, I have the man who knows no stranger nor pepper too spicy in his favorite month of the year. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. We
Yeah.
are less than 2 weeks away from the greatest spectacle in racing.
Yeah. And last night, the Pacers gave us a little sneak peek of some
they
great
had,
spectacle.
Yeah, that was full throttle last night. Eat your heart out, Ohio residents and Cleveland Cavaliers fans, because it's over, baby.
Yeah.
Pacers are winning it all this year.
Yeah, we watched so I watched with one eye on Friday, and I'll get into why here in a second, but that one eye was enough to completely jinx the Pacers. They played terrible on Friday, and then they turned around yesterday. I did not watch, and I didn't watch the first two games either, and I guess they ran them, you were telling me, so I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, last night. It was akin to last year on Mother's Day where they beat the hell out of the Knicks at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was good
to remember that. And last but certainly not least, the man who'd rather be outside doing anything else, just in nature, than wherever he is currently. I'm the Mountain Man. Walker, what's up, man? You doing all right?
Oh yeah, we're still coming down from a tough loss this season. Turkey season, of course.
Yeah,
it's over in Texas here, and I am turkey.
Are we 0 for 2 on the pod? Do I need to get out there and go get one?
That would be embarrassing for both Nick and I.
Wouldn't that be wild?
That would, yeah.
It's not gonna
get you a shotgun and go find a turkey.
I'll let you
it's
borrow
not that
one
hard.
of mine.
You just gotta look like a bush. No, so the postseason's shaping up real nice though. Going fishing.
Oh, there you go.
I like it. So, well, y'all, this is episode 27 of the podcast. So please remember, if you're watching, we appreciate you. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share anything that comes to mind while we're talking. We're just kind of flying off the seat of our pants a lot of times. And so we may say something wrong, controversial. Probably not. You probably didn't hear us say anything wrong. But if you think you did, we'd love to hear it. If you want to join the Discord, bit.ly/ForcedToPod Discord, all one word, just rolls off the tongue every time. So you can join there. Come talk about all things wilderness, Midwest dad vibes, sports ball, anything you want to. So
why we suck.
Yeah, we'd love to meet you so you can say it to our face. So we appreciate you. So
pull up.
Yeah, so boys, we just got pull up to the pod. So, well, boys, we just got through Mother's Day weekend. What'd you do? Did you guys celebrate? Do anything?
I mean, I called my mom.
Yeah,
we're far apart. So
I mean, that's the thing. And so I spent time with my parents this weekend. They came down on Friday, and then I was streaming last night. I was playing Destiny with some guys streaming and had some people in the chat, and I think it was like 8 o'clock, and I was like, y'all, to everyone who's watching, I was like, don't forget, if you're in the U.S., it is Mother's Day. Don't forget. And some dude just types, "Oh," in my chat, comes back, and he said, "Crisis averted." And then I just see another sub on YouTube go up. He's like, "Thanks,
nice."
Man. I was like, it's the little things. The little things. It's the easiest. Yeah, easiest thing in the world. He's like, "Man, I almost missed that." He's like, it's like the constant, like, nagging in the back of your head. It's like, I'm missing something. I can't remember something.
Calls his mom at 11:55, wakes her up out it bed. Happy birthday.
Yeah. That's Mother's. That's the vibe for Mother's Day. Honestly, that's
for real.
That's how it'd be to be a mom.
Yep. So, but yeah,
we had
a good time. They came down. We did a little steak dinner because I was telling Nick before the pod, we did Father's Day, Mother's Day wombo combo with my side this weekend, and then Heather's family's coming down in a couple weeks. We're gonna do the exact same thing for them. So just knock it all out because we're traveling in June. We're gonna be away for a little bit, and then they're just missing each other, different things going on. So yeah, it kind of worked out. So Nick, did you guys do anything?
Yes, Kristen's family lives close still. My mom lives in a different state, and my dad and stepmom live in a different state for half of the year. So we usually just go to their house for holidays and stuff. So we went down there and hung out with them and her sister and brother-in-law and their kids for a few hours, had lunch. Kristen's mom bought a new TV recently, and she was all psyched because she got it hooked up and got it connected to their internet without any help.
Okay.
And so I downloaded Plex and signed into my account on there, and then made everybody watch Goofy Movie.
Honestly,
I mean, we're all like,
that's more Father,
movie,
or is that
that's
the second
Father
one?
Day vibes?
I think that's the second one. It's an extremely goofy movie.
Extremely goofy movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we were all in and out. It's like the kids were playing out in the yard, and we were just kind of wandering around. I was like, well, at first we watched Lilo and Stitch because I
Okay.
let Reagan
Classic.
pick, and the new one's coming out soon.
Yeah.
And then
I-
nobody was
New,
inside.
I take no, not new.
It's got real people in it.
Yeah, there's a real alien, dude.
Yeah.
They actually found an alien.
They sent Katy Perry up there. She brought Stitch back.
Disney needs to cut this out. Nobody wants this. Okay,
My
maybe the children
8-year-old
want this. I don't
my
know.
8-year-old definitely wants it.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up so they obviously don't go to school on Memorial Day. If you're not American, that's because of the sacrifices great men and women have made to keep our country free. But they have 2 days, so they go Tuesday and Wednesday, the week of Memorial Day, and then they're done with school.
Huh.
So I feel like we could have avoided this.
That's dumb. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's probably because we had a bunch of snow days or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they got to hit the number. Like,
yeah.
I know they got to hit the, but those children aren't learning those days.
Oh,
they're
no,
having a good,
no.
They're having a good time though. Or at
They
least we
are.
were when I was a kid. We got popsicles, played outside, did all.
Oh,
that.
yeah, those were the, what's it called?
Field
like, I want to
days.
say like track and field. I guess it would be like a
We
track
just
and
called it-
field type day
Yeah.
or whatever you
Yeah,
call
we
it.
basically,
literally
yeah.
called it field day. Yeah.
Yeah, field day. Yeah. Just doing
yeah.
all that stuff.
Here's a shot put, kid.
Well, I'm
Dude,
guessing,
we did
like,
some wild stuff out. I mean, we didn't have that
Oh,
much
yeah.
going on, but
lawn darts and whatnot.
yep.
So in Maine, growing up, we were in school till almost like June. Sometimes. It's
They'll
like
be-
Due to
pretty
the
messed
weather,
up, honestly.
or they just didn't like you.
Well, that's
No, we started later too. They basically try to give you like more like legit summer,
I
basically.
gotcha.
yeah. They get out the last week of May and they go back like the first week of August.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
ever start till September, right?
But-
Like August is primo in May.
Yeah, but they get like a full week for fall break, 2 weeks for Christmas, I think, a week for it's more geared towards year round almost, where you have larger
Yeah.
breaks throughout than you do over the summer. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna try and take at least Reagan. I don't know if Riley will want to go, but Reagan to go see, dude. The amount of like Stitch plushies and stuffed animals she has is, I mean, it's double digits for sure.
Huh.
Yeah, so I know she's gonna want to see it. So maybe we can go sneak out on like a weeknight after school's out. Of course, she has made the All-Star team for softball, so there's gonna be 4 extra softball tournaments this summer.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
Yeah, suffering from success there.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just looked up the last day. The official last day for my old high school for this year at least is the 16th of June.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
rough.
that's exactly
That's
what I
not-
remember as a kid.
It's not even graduation, right? It'll be like the next weekend or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely graduated like mid-June.
Sheesh.
Dude, we were done. We were done in May, early May. Like, I remember my senior year prom, which is usually, I don't know what, a few weeks before
Something like
school's
that.
out.
Yeah.
The day that we went to prom, one of my friends ran the mini marathon, which is like, it's a
Half
lead
marathon.
up. Yeah, but it's a lead up event to the Indy 500 stuff because
Mm.
it's like
Okay.
part of the Indy festival or whatever, and part of the mini marathon route is around the track.
What's the
So
Indy
it's like-
500?
It's the 2 weeks from yesterday. It's the Sunday before Memorial Day.
Classic.
Every
It's
year
got to be a good time. Sounds like it'd be very interesting for some people.
Yeah.
for about 400,000 people, it would be very interesting.
Yeah, they're super interested in those cars for about 5 seconds that they're there in front of them, and then like I have no idea
And
I
how
think
long
the
it takes to
total
get back.
time
It's
the car
about-
is in front of you is
Well, in front of me or visible, because I can see it for a lot longer than it's. Well, you can't see the whole track, and from our seats,
really
you can see.
interesting.
No, it's
Okay.
huge. It's a humongous. I mean, the oval itself, just the track is 2.5 miles. I think it's technically 2.49, but
something. Yeah.
yeah. So you can't see. There's a golf course in the middle. There's like the road course runs through the middle. There's a dirt
Huh.
track in the middle. There's a museum inside. Like it's a humongous place. So from our seats, we can see them coming out of turn 3. There's a the straight in between the corners, which is called the short shoot. So we can see them in the short shoot into turn 4, and then we can watch them all the way down and go into turn 1. So we can go all the way down the front stretch. But we've timed it a couple years ago just to see how long it takes, and it's usually right around 40 seconds from the cars to be in front of you to go around and come back and be in front of you again. Granted, that's if they're running green flags, depending on fuel loads, tire wear, pit strategy, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a good time. It's fun. And I think the part that, like, for most people keeps you coming back is all the pomp and circumstance before. There's like the Purdue marching band, even though we hate Purdue.
Yeah.
In this household, it's a tradition for almost 100 years. They have the Purdue band comes and plays. They have when they do driver introductions, they have like pickup trucks. The drivers are standing in the bed of a Chevy Silverado or whatever, and they drive them around the track and they're waving to the fans.
As God intended.
They always have like a parade of Corvettes. Just people, just like 100 Corvettes are just driving around the track. They do, a flyover, national anthem, back home again in Indiana. It's like a whole hour-long thing. They play taps. Everybody cries. Like, it's because it's Memorial Day weekend.
Sure.
Yeah, no, sure. It's they play taps before the end. I mean, I guess they
play it before the beginning. Before the
I
start of the race.
Like a terminal song.
Yeah, I think it's just more of like a moment of silence,
Memorial
remembrance
thing. Yeah.
I'll try and remember to like take some video and stuff, but I get pretty locked in for all of those events.
Is that sacrilegious to video during taps?
It's not a religious thing, right?
No. Sorry. I mean,
no,
yeah, I'm not
I know what you're
meaning
saying.
it literally.
No,
but I tend to like not think about that when I'm, especially
when you're moving through life.
No, I mean like recording all of those. Like when I'm there, I'm locked into what's going on.
Okay.
I thought you were saying you don't take time to think of something sacrilegious before you do it.
No, I definitely don't. I did a few times at Marion.
That honestly, that's fair. Wait, I want to talk adjacent to that here in a little bit.
Oh man, I don't like it when people record the fireworks and record the whatever. Like, when was the last time you went back and looked at those things?
Never. The only reason I recorded fireworks and stuff at Disney was so I could share it in the Discord and show everybody like the cool lighting effects that they had at the castle.
Yeah, you see that, people?
Yeah, now Walker's saying he was irritated by something that Nick just did a couple weeks ago.
Nick pisses me off all the time.
I get that a lot, especially here at home.
Just constant. God. Yeah, so feeding off the thing you were just saying about Mary and the sacrilegious stuff. We have a new pope. I don't think any of us really care.
The pope memes have been
Pope.
Exceptional.
My favorite one was I literally saw it. The problem is I pull my phone out and Heather's like, she's adjacent asleep, like in the morning. Like she's like right on the verge. And then I open my phone and all I see is prayers like across the. I was dying, dude. And it's first thing I see in the morning. And I was
we were talking about somebody mentioned the Pope today at work on one of our team calls, and I just hear one of the guys go, prayers.
I am no % religious, and I'm just delighting in how lighthearted it all is. It's just so lovely to have something be lighthearted in that way. It's fun, celebratory, and just silly.
I like all the people are like, super patriotic about it, like the Pope's American, like, USA.
The Pope has lived in Peru for like 2 decades,
right.
Like...
There was some clip. They had just put it over top. So a few of my favorites were when they said we got to give the Pope like a real Chicago entrance, and he comes out to like the Jordan, like the Bulls intro. Dun, 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 dun. It's so good. Like just having him come out to that. I saw one that said like we now have a pope in, like, I think they said in office, a pope in office that's touched the bean, and someone says, wait, I thought they were supposed to be celibate, like talking about the Chicago bean.
That's definitely sacrilegious.
Yeah, for real. I didn't do it. I'm just, don't shoot the messenger. What was the last one? I saw a lot of people that were talking about him getting emotional and stuff, which was kind of cool because I think like anytime you look at the Pope, like it seems like such a stoic figure.
Mm.
And sometimes I actually kind of wonder if that has to do a little bit with just like, maybe if that has to do with like, I know the Pope, like typically sitting Pope knows like many languages, right? Like I think this guy knows like 5 or 6 different, he's fluent in like 5 or 6 different languages and such. But like, I wonder if sometimes that has to do with like, okay, there's like a powerful moment happening. He's not like 100% sure everything that's happening. And then you go in the back and you're like, yeah, this is, whatever it is.
I was thinking maybe all the previous popes were very stoic because for their entire childhoods, they were being physically beaten by nuns. So
possibly.
Anytime they acted out, they were getting hit with wooden implements.
Yeah. So, but
definitely go on a dark turn. I like the Pope memes where they're talking about how Chicago style pizza is better than Italian pizza.
Yeah, it said this is the body of Christ, and it's just a Giordano's like deep pizza.
Like, it's so funny. It's just delightful, just so lighthearted.
Yeah. And then him being a Chicago White Sox fan, there was footage of him in the crowd in the 05 World Series, like actually there. They had what was it? The White Sox put up on the screen a message that said like, I think like he was like 270, like 268 or whatever the number was. But I guess that was controversial because there's one pope that supposedly like a large portion, I don't know if it's like the Catholic community, like they don't believe or they don't recognize that he was an actual pope. And then there's a portion of the community that does. And so that would make him 267 if you don't think he is. So it says, leave it to like a Chicago White Sox intern to take the entire organization and put a stance on whether or not this old guy was a legitimate pope. I'll have to see if I can find that.
That's very Chicago White Sox too.
Yeah, and then I saw someone in our other Discord, the gaming Discord server, they posted that if he would have been a Cubs fan, that he would have taken the name of like whatever the patron saint of lost causes was, like it would have been the Cubs. So
oh god,
yeah. And then we were looking up, I was talking with St. Jude. It would have been, he would have taken the name Jude, the patron saint of lost causes.
St. Jude is the patron saint of lost causes, and that's what they named the children's hospital?
I guess.
Guys.
Yikes.
Dude.
Oof. Donated money there.
Oof.
Come on.
Yeah,
they do a lot of good work, but name your hospital better, folks.
Yeah.
Or not. It's not a single hospital.
It's like when you
see
John Cena coming into your hospital room. It's over for you, dude.
He's the harbinger of death.
That dude.
Every time, gotta shout out the man for doing the best, like the most work. Also, Peacemaker season 2 is coming out. I lamented that I hadn't heard of it.
He won a record-breaking 17th WrestleMania title. So this year,
good for him.
Is he done?
The man's a hero.
Is he done?
I haven't watched since WrestleMania. I'll have to ask my buddy Cameron.
Yeah, I thought I had heard something online that said he was.
Well, this year was like his last hurrah, the whole.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that officially ends.
Yeah,
which event?
That's a good point.
Here's another meme I saw from a sports personality I follow. She said, "Chicago produced a pope before a quarterback who throws for 4,000 yards."
There was just so many incredible,
excellent,
incredible memes about the Chicago Pope. And then we decided on Saturday night to watch Conclave. And that movie, I would have never in a million years believed that they could take a movie that was just about electing a new pope and like keep me locked in the entire time. And it was
streaming.
It's so good. So good.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Oh, it came out last year. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So it was on Amazon.
With my boy Rafe Fiennes.
Yep.
AKA Voldemort.
Yep. He tore it up, and I think
he's the best.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where like I would have never assumed or guessed that there was so much like political nature behind it. It makes complete sense, but I guess I just like in my head I just assumed that the process was something that I know that they were voting, but it almost seems like something where like you can kind of see the writing on the wall if it has to do with someone passing away. I know that there's been some that have passed away from heart attacks, things of that sort, but this last pope, he was sick for quite a while, things of that sort.
Like 8,000 years old.
Yeah, I think he was 88.
He
so
knew
you have
Jesus.
To be, yeah, for real.
They were friends. They grew up together.
Yeah, he sat behind Moses and looked on his tablet. So they shared tablets. So he's 88. But I thought it was interesting because I looked it up. So for anyone who doesn't know, all the cardinals across the world, they are allowed to come in and vote if they are under 80. So that is one thing that the Catholic Church can get right, but Congress can't. Is like, hey, we're gonna round this off. It's like, hey, you're still a cardinal. Like you're good. Like you still have your seat, but do not fly here because you're not a part of this. And so the current pope, is it Pope Leo? I think that's his new name.
The 14th, right?
The 14th, I believe. So he is 69. Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
And then he so I think on average I found that the popes they usually hold the position for 14 years, whether they resign from the position, things of that sort. But for me, and I know this is dumb because like obviously they're humans, but it really humanized the whole process, right? Like you have all of these figures that are chasing this position for their own reasons, and then you're going through rounds of voting and figuring things out. It was a great movie, and I think it's very timely. So I would say strike while the iron's hot, so to speak. If you have any interest in Conclave and what was going on behind the scenes, you should definitely definitely check it out.
I think it's very important to remember that like everybody's a human at the end of the day. Even the very, very important people are still people.
I suppose
it helps. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
for many reasons, but.
Yep. Sometimes it hurts. I'm like, that person made those decisions and they're still a person. So how could a person do those things? That sometimes makes it worse.
That's true.
What I want to know is how many children born in the next year or so are going to be named Leo. Because you know who is having a lot of kids? Catholics. So
it's true. It's very true. Did you see that the first, what was it? It was like his first thing. He spoke out against war. Like his first like public thing was like calling, for end of all sorts of wars across and calling for peace, which I feel like that's a softball. Like your first address.
Fruit. Yeah.
So here's a question for you. I would have loved to have come up with this ahead of time, so I'm going to say I did, but I just came up with it right now. Our Pope. That. You're just no. We're good. We're doing it live, folks, but we're not. We're recorded and it'll get cut down and all that stuff. But you've been elected Pope. What is your first speech? Like, what are you railing against? Because Pope Leo has done 2 so far. He did 1 against war. Big no on the war. He's like, let's get that out of here.
Second, no on the war.
Second today was on AI. He was railing against AI.
That's what we talked about.
It's like, what are we? Okay, so we're cool. We're just able to talk about everything. It's like, hey, could we just talk about like, I don't know. I guess the Pope can just have an opinion on everything now, which is cool.
Yeah, like, is this or is this not Catholic? Like, does this meet the values of the religion? He just kind of gets to tell you that, right? Like, that's the point of being Pope.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now. Pope Leo's stance on, and then there was just an infinite number of things popping up in Google immediately, but I'm just doing on AI.
Does he have a stance on Baja Blast?
This dude was in Chicago.
Because if I'm Pope, Baja Blast is now considered holy water. So you're baptizing your babies in the good old Baja Blast. Yeah.
Alcoholic
Baja Blast. We get it.
Baja baptized, brother.
We go through another pandemic. They start loading up the water guns with Baja Blast. And they're just shooting across.
I feel like there's a non-zero amount of people you could convert to Catholicism if you were willing to just like communion with Baja Blast and little tiny crunch wraps.
Yeah,
probably.
It seems interesting. It says, this is like a quote from him talking about AI. Pope Leo's stance on AI. AI poses new challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor, talking about things like political deceptions, like deep fakes used for all sorts of malice, and then just taking jobs away that were giving people purpose and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm in. Like, I'm not Catholic, but I'm in on Pope Leo. Like, he's got a lot. By my means, he's my favorite leader to come out of America that's in power right now. Let's just say that by far. So I'm thrilled with Pope Leo being in there. I know nothing about him. We'll find out something, I'm sure, but it'll be. He was from Chicago.
Yeah, he's a Sox fan. That's the problem.
Yeah, right there. But
Go Tigers.
So it will be interesting though. How many Chicagoans, I think that's the proper. How many do you think will be converted to Sox fans if the Sox start winning now that Pope Leo is the Pope?
I think it's more likely that if the Sox start winning, because they're, over the last couple of years, one of the worst baseball teams out there. If the Sox start winning, you might have a higher prevalence of people converting to Catholicism rather than switching fandoms.
But I wonder if you could get that classified as a legit miracle. I know there's a whole process you got to go through.
All right.
The whole angels in the outfield situation.
Yeah.
So
God.
Let's see here.
Well, I was just thinking, what's my Pope speech? I don't know.
All right, you do that, and how to declare something an official miracle. Okay, we're just doing AI overview.
Process, yeah.
Investigation by a local bishop, medical and theological analysis, assessment by congregation for the causes of saints, formal declaration. It is officially declared by the Pope. It would have to go through him.
Yeah, he just gets to call it.
Key elements of a Catholic miracle: instantaneous, lasting, and unexplainable. There's a few things we could categorize as that, but we're not going to get into that.
Miracles, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So I guess honestly, so what would that hit? So I guess we would have to see if the Sox continue to win, and they would have to start it. They'd have to start it about now, and with no changes to their team, no changes to their roster, nothing. It would just have to be for it to be a Catholic miracle.
You know what I would consider a Catholic miracle?
What's that?
Just a regular, everyday energy drink. Instantaneous, lasting energy, and there's something about it you just can't explain.
Oh, there you go.
You get a good old workday tall boy.
Workday tall boy?
Just, energy. It's not a regular tall boy. Those ones will get you fired. But
that's true.
The workday tall boys.
They'll get you sent home from work early.
Joke's on you, boss. I'm already at home.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's your Walker? What do you think?
What's
what
my
causes? What are the things that you're thinking? Like you get up there. I'm a rail against this.
I don't know. I don't think I'd rail against anything. Just talk about being nice to people. I don't know. That's my serious answer.
Great podcast content right there.
Yeah. No, that's horrible. I
put it on the tee for
about
you.
this. Yeah. No. Be nice, everybody.
Yeah. I was not nice to you right there. I apologize. So the Pope is influencing me.
Mad, bro.
Yeah, he would.
No, just disappointed.
No, God, that's worse. No, I don't know. My Pope speech would be against golf.
The preservation of God's creation.
Probably something along those lines, but specifically.
Well, I don't think that's the terminology the Pope would typically use, but we're.
I just don't know how to say it in Latin, but probably exactly the same in Latin.
They talk about that in Conclave. They talk about how the room, because they come in and it's all the Cardinals, and then they spend multiple scenes just in the cafeteria, where they're eating dinner and stuff like that. Things happen there.
Relatable.
But they're making the point, there's one of the candidates who's the Cardinals who's trying to become Pope, and he's a much more conservative Cardinal, and he's talking about how more progressive popes have come in and they've taken us in a certain direction, and now he's like, look around the room, you see the Italians sit here and the English speaking sit here and the Spanish speaking, and all that, and he's talking about how a certain pope had gotten away and said that cast Latin out as a dead language, and because I guess there were points in time where they were all just speaking that, so it was kind of more intermingled across the thing like that. So it was very interesting.
Walker, I just sent you a link to Google Translate to how you say golf in Latin.
Golf translate, nice. Oh yeah, golfum ad inferos. Just basically, golf can go to hell.
Right.
Golfum. Yeah, no, we're all going straight to hell if we don't.
It also, this was the other thing. This is the other thing I'll pull up because this was interesting. List of most. Hold on a second. Let me do this.
Sorry to everybody who thought they were going to have fun listening to this episode and instead learned everything about the Pope.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The Pope memes are great, and I love the Pope memes.
Yep. So, list of most prevalent Pope names. I had a really good website the other day. Oh, dude, look at the hats.
Number one.
Undefeated. I
don't know, man. They're a little reminiscent.
They look like those chess pieces, the bishops.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see.
Crack myself up.
So we can't say that we're acting as if we're Pope.
Benedict, yeah, great. Okay.
Yeah, innocent. So John has been the Pope's name 21 times, Benedict 17, Gregory 16, Clement 14, Innocent 13, Leo now 14. Come on, yep. ITV.com. You got to get up to Pius 12, which I feel like that is a little bit of a stretch there. I like because you pick your own name, right? So like you get in there. Stephen 9, Boniface 8, and then Urban, which is interesting.
Where's
the
Pope
more pressing? Yeah, the more pressing question is, what's your Pope name going to be?
I wonder how common it is for people to not go with something that's already established.
I'm going Pope Jesus.
I was going to say is that allowed?
Or you could be Pope Judas.
Pope Judas.
Yeah,
aren't you supposed to pick? You're supposed to pick something that is like, it's basically a little teaser at like the kind of Pope you want to be, right? Like, you pick this name because you liked what the other guys with the name did, or if you're picking the name of a saint, you like what they stand
first time
for.
I've heard that. I didn't know.
Right? I thought that was I don't know. As a naive outside observer, I thought that was kind of like part of the point. Is you're supposed to like tell people what you're about.
It's not gonna make Walker happy, but maybe I'd just be Pope Tiger.
Pope Tiger
Woods.
Pope Tiger Woods.
I guess there's been 5 popes named Sixtus, Sixtus. I mean, that's pretty.
Well, we needed one more.
That's true.
Does it even mean?
I guess there really are a lot of popes because they all die after 10 years.
Yeah, they're only in there. Well, 276.
That's a lot of popes.
77. No, it's 77 or 78, depending on where you stand.
I'm not taking a stance on this thing I didn't know anything about. I would never do that. Especially on a podcast.
It's 100% 78. It's for sure 78. Anybody says otherwise, it's wrong. I'm willing to die on this hill that I know nothing about.
Nobody has ever killed anybody else for religious reasons, so you're probably safe.
Yeah, you're good.
I didn't even know this was a hill, but I'm going to die on it.
Yeah, your own personal Calvary. Let's see here. So yeah, we've we've beat this Pope thing into the ground here, boys. So this has been a fun conversation.
I don't know. I can't say enough how just delighted I am. How much fun everybody seems, or at least in America. I don't know how everybody else is doing, but the Americans are having a really good time.
Don't know, don't care. Get over it. We won.
It just it feels like the first time in a little bit that everybody was kind of on the same page with something silly. When of course the Pope is not silly, but poking some fun. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know the Pope, but
his brother missed like 5 calls from him after he got elected. He was like, I was working, I was away from my phone, I came back and I have 5 calls from Robert or whatever.
That's like, funny. No,
I feel like you got to go in your phone and change the name before you can pick up a call, because I want it to show in my call log that I got called by Pope Leo the 14th.
Right.
Like, I don't want it to just show I was going to say his Christian name, but that doesn't even work anymore.
Well, I guess the second one's more Christian, probably.
Which one is God given?
Because the second one's man given. It's given by himself, unless he's prayed about it.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting theological question.
None of us are qualified.
I'm
the closest to qualified, and I have no clue. I have no clue.
Yeah, no. It's good to see everybody poking silly fun at something. It's nice.
Well, we had about 3 days. So this was the only possibility that we were going to just forget about the fact that the official White House account like tweeted a picture of Trump as the Pope, like an AI image as Trump as the Pope. It was like we actually got an American Pope, and he's like, okay, this is cool. Like we overrode that because this is actually more nutty. Like I would have never. I'm gonna be honest with you boys. I mean, I never really thought about it, but we were there. As you heard, we were at Vatican City last year, and I was there. I was like, I had no concept that it could even really be an American. Like, obviously, it makes sense, but you just don't think that. You just don't think it would ever be. And I was like, I didn't assume that dude would die. So, I mean, I knew he would at some point, but like not this soon. So
it's got to happen. It's got to happen sometime.
Yes, life is life.
Yep.
But I don't think anybody really saw the American Pope coming.
Honestly, it sounds like a sitcom. Like it sounds like it should be.
Does. He grew up in Chicago, but now he's the Pope.
Rob Schneider.
I can hear the tagline. I can hear the music.
Yeah, so
it's literally just "Duh Pope." That's your show right there.
For real, duh prayers. So, well, boys, I don't know. I think we had a tight 40-minute talk about the Pope, the Chicago Pope. I'm pretty happy with it. So
Chicago Pope.
The Chicago
Pope.
The Chicago. I don't know. We'll work.
The
Chicago. So we'll workshop it. But if you listen to this,
we absolutely won't.
We're working on it. We'll come back to you. We'll spend another hour next week talking about
talking more sacrilege. Enjoy our podcast.
Honestly, I think Pope Leo would be happy. From everything I know
next week.
Yeah, for everything I know about Pope Leo, I think you'd be pretty pleased with the conversation we had tonight. So, but yeah, to anyone who's still listening, we appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. Let us know what your Pope name would be. Your papal name. I think that's how you say the word.
Don't talk about my papal, dude.
Your papal. And so we'd love to know what your name is. Share that in the comments. And until next time, be well.